You're tuned in to Kana's Corner, only on 918 The Fan, and I have a very awesome person with me, and that would be Julie Rei Goldstein. Say hi to everybody out there.
Hi, everybody listening to 918 The Fan.
I think I've said it to you, and I've said it to everybody listening. I'm so excited to talk to you again. Last time I did get to see you was Anime Vegas, and hopefully I'll see you at a convention this year. We should cross paths, but I heard that you've already started convention hopping. You went to Anime LA.
Yeah, I did Anime LA. I think it was the second weekend of the year already, and already at a convention. Anime LA, I like it because it's nice and small, and it's kind of a nice little jump start to the year. And it's the second year in a row that Kyle Hebert has brought anime radio to Anime LA, and that is, both years, has pretty much been the highlight of my convention. It's so much fun.
Now, Kyle is such a cool guy, and I know that you talked about that a little bit on your vlogs, but could you explain a little bit more in depth about what it is? Because I thought anime radio was our thing.
Oh, yeah. No, actually, it has nothing to do with anime apart for the fact that everybody involved are voice actors in the anime industry. Basically what it is Kyle finds these scripts from radio plays from the 1930s, 1940s, when that was the main source of entertainment. There wasn't TV. Everybody listened to radio. And he pulls up these scripts and gives it to everybody on the spot, and we basically perform a cold read. And sometimes we go by the script, sometimes we don't. And it's also interesting to see what kind of characters people come up with on the spot for these scripts. It's a lot of fun. There are some videos of last year's and this year's actually on YouTube.
Oh, nice. Well, I'm sure people who are interested in that can search that up on YouTube, and that'll be a very, I'm sure, hilarious, video to watch.
Yeah, mainly from, you can find it from my YouTube. For anybody who wants to search my YouTube, it's youtube.com/Julie Rei Goldstein. Just find my entire, type out my entire name, and that'll not only show my videos, but I favorite everything that I'm involved in. So you'll see both the anime radios in there from last year and this year, as well as those vlogs that I've started doing that you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, I'm actually excited to see, voice actors, doing that. It's a nice way to keep touch with the fans and everything. Though I feel a little sad that your kitty's kind of stealing the spotlight.
Oh yeah, she's very much a little attention grabber. She likes to run around and follows me everywhere. I've had her since she was a baby. She was, I think, 5 weeks old when I brought her home. So whenever I'm home, she follows me everywhere and is always kind of interested in what I'm doing.
Aww,
I'm very
that's so
much
cute.
the mother. It is. I love it, and I think if I were to adopt another kitten, it would have to be a kitten, because I just love the fact that she has that connection. No matter who may pass through the household, I'm the one she always goes back to.
My cat's a little bit the same way. It's just she dislikes anybody else but me. So it's not so much the following aspect as so much I don't like anybody else who's not my mommy.
Yeah.
But after I interviewed you, because originally when I did interview at Anime Expo, I asked you a little bit about your experience at AX Idol. And that year I put myself, through the audition process of AX Idol, because I was like, I'll try it, I'll get it out of the way. And it's funny because I can talk to you and a bunch of other voice actors and not feel a shred of embarrassment or anything or nervousness, but auditioning, yeah, it was like a rocket shooting and crashing. It was terrible. But I will just... What was that?
Oh no, that's not exclusive to you. That happens to me nowadays. Regardless, it's something that you don't get over. But what I've found useful is that nervous energy that I have going into an audition. I'll try to use that energy to make my performance bigger and better. you never get over it.
Because I was going to ask, I was like, well, I totally bombed that, and I didn't expect that. So I was just curious if you had felt that same anxiety when you tried out originally.
I had that exact same anxiety, and that anxiety again never goes away. I'm very lucky nowadays that most of my auditions are done from home. That's one of the benefits of voiceover over live action and camera acting. For camera acting, you actually are going in front of somebody, but especially with the world of the internet and MP3s, for most projects, voiceover auditions are done from a studio outside of the studio where the recording is going to be. So you can kind of separate yourself from there. But whenever I have to go to a studio to do an audition, I always am there shaking with my copy for a good at least 5 minutes before going in.
Well, at least I don't feel so bad. On the plus side, though, I'm sure that anxiety helps you to get a lot of the roles that you do, such as, you have a habit of getting very, deep vocal roles and always people that are yelling. That's usually what I see.
Yeah, I mainly get cast as villains or antagonists in one way or another, and usually there's this sort of arc that most villains tend to go through, where at the beginning, when they're hatching out their plan or when they're trying to carry out their plan, they're very calculated and precise, but then when things start to unravel, it's almost like they can't contain that frustration inside. So it always ends up with the screaming. I think it was I'm thinking of a quote from Jurassic Park that I love. I think Jeff Goldblum says it. That's how it starts. It's first all the oohs, ahs, but then there's running and screaming. That's what it reminds me of.
Well, I was actually, when I watched your demo and I saw your Tweenie Witch's character, I think I was more bothered than that by seeing you as this vampire-like plant in that new short Ketchup.
Oh, yeah, that was a very interesting experience, and it was very different from anime in the sense that we did that as prelay. And to give you and your listeners an idea, anime is done, when we do anime, everything is already done. We're actually watching the finished product. So, for example, when I went to record Tweenie Witches, we actually saw everything that was happening, and so I could actually tailor the voice to the character. But for Ketchup, pretty much all that was done was a very basic outline of a script and a little bit of storyboards for some items. We really didn't have that much, so I kind of had to imagine what the director wanted as this demon tomato plant, which was basically the only description I had that pretty much spoke mainly in grumbles. I think there were very few lines that the demon tomato plant actually said.
It was I was a little surprised because I'm not going to spoil anything, but I expected it to be sort of like, oh, it's claymation, oh, it's going to be so happy, and it's just not.
Yeah, it's very dark, and talking to the director about it, he liked to tell me that it was a metaphor for him growing up and kind of where he comes from, and how his family grew up in a very rural environment, and that was basically a metaphor for how the culture is over there.
Oh, very interesting. And now you did the voice, but I saw in the credits, but I wasn't able to catch it when I did watch it. But did you also do something else with the project?
I played two different characters, and they're both antagonists. I played this evil manager at the beginning, kind of the story behind
that was you.
Yeah, I played this manager who, in a way, when I looked at the final product, going back to anime, I'm like, wow, it's kind of like a fat blackjack in a way, except with a top hat. um, the basic story behind Ketchup is it's the story of this family, this family of farmers who are they're mainly tomato farmers, and the the town that they live in, there's a big ketchup factory that buys all the tomatoes from all the farmers in the area, and they only buy like the reddest and the juiciest tomatoes, and that family for some reason just can't farm tomatoes to their the quality that the factory manager wants, and so it's very much a sort of Jack and the Beanstalk takes a demonic turn in that the boy is given these seeds by an old man who he helps, except he's given a warning to cut down the plants right after getting the fruits, and I'll kind of leave it there. But the manager of the ketchup factory, who unfortunately denies the little boy at first, that was me as well.
Oh, wow. So you actually did quite a few voices, and I would assume that you'd have to record this quite early because it is claymation. I'm unaware of how early in comparison to, like, say, anime. You know, sometimes you audition for anime, I guess, like 2, 3, even 6 months beforehand. But with this, you know, they still have to put, like, the final touches together and make every single frame.
Oh, I think it was about a year and a half between the time when we recorded Ketchup to the time I actually saw the product. When we recorded it, nothing was done besides some initial sketches, and I think the director had a miniature sculpture of the town and some of the characters. But apart from that, all I had was this script. So it was very, very different from doing anime. Anime, when we do it, everything is already done. Pretty much all they're putting together, all they need to add is the voices and finish all the mixing on that. So usually when you record anime, the product comes out probably 2-3 months on DVD after you do the recording. But for this, it took, even though it was only a 10-minute claymation short film, it took the director about a year to finish. And it was actually quite interesting. I learned a lot from that experience because we did something which I thought was very interesting, where there were scenes where there wasn't very much a lot of dialogue, but a lot of noises. And so instead of the director writing down a description, we started recording, and the director would speak to me in my ear and say, okay, Julie, this is what's happening to your character now. And I would basically pretend and do the noises for what the character was going through as the director was narrating in my ear. So it was a lot of fun, but very hard.
Well, it's good experience, and hopefully, you know, you'll get more roles that are able to, you know, like put you in the limelight just a little bit more. I'm a little bit scared if you get another vampire plant role, but that's just my own opinion.
Well, hopefully more villains. I still love playing the villains. I don't get tired of that. But that's, again, all pre-lay animation is done like that. Disney, Pixar, DreamWorks, Nickelodeon, all of that stuff is done pre-lay, where you pretty much just have a script and drawings of characters when you go into record. You don't actually have a guide. And that's what makes it so hard compared to film acting, where you actually have everything around you in voiceover and prelay. You kind of have to imagine everything that's going on, especially when you don't have a video right in front of you as you do with anime, because anime, I can kind of see what's going on there and imagine the circumstances because they've kind of been painted out there for me. But with prelay, it's all your mind, all your mind.
And out of curiosity, do you know off the top of the head where our listeners can catch up, or is that only on your vlog side links?
Unfortunately, I'm not sure the exact site where you can get it, but there is a link through my vlog, so you can go to youtube.com/Julie Rei Goldstein, and that'll have pretty much links to everything there. It might be on the director's site, which is wenchunglu.com, and that's wenchunglu.com, and I believe he put it up because it's hosted on that site, but I'm not sure if he has a little navigation towards there that you can find it.
All right, well, good to know. And we will be right back. Remember, you're tuned in to 918 The Fan, where vampire plants talk to us. Stay tuned.
Ever wonder what's going on in the anime world? Check out 918 The Fan every weekday for the newest iStock. We'll fill you in on everything you need to know in 3 minutes or less. Only on 918thefan.com.
And we're back. You're tuned in to Kana's Corner on 918 The Fan, and I have a very special guest with me, Julie Rei Goldstein. And if you've missed any of the interview, don't worry, it'll be up on the site later. You just got to be patient. So we were talking actually behind the scenes about your new project, Trish Patty Pat, and it's an on-camera role, but I kind of know nothing about it, and I think our listeners are interested in, knowing a bit of the details.
Sure, I'm really excited about it. I've been in LA now for 3 years, and it's the first time I've actually gotten to foray into the world of on-camera acting. So I'm really excited to jump back into it. And what it is, it's a webisode series about this relationship between the two main characters are Trish and Troy, and they have a very odd relationship in the sense that they're complete opposites, and they're two people who you don't think would ever be together, and yet somehow they are, and they just don't let the relationship end. And it's also about the very unique and odd situations that they get into each other, specifically because Trish is an actress, and she's trying to always make rent, and so she every month she has to come up with these crazy schemes on how to make rent in time.
Reminds me of Lucille Ball.
Yeah, you know what? Now that you mention it, that's very much what it's like. Except we've got a just like Lucille Ball, we've got a very unique set of characters surrounding Trish and Troy, which should provide very comedic and fun for the entire series, hopefully for a very long time.
And now, what character do you play on this it's not a short, it's like it's a web series, from my understanding?
They're webisodes, so I believe every episode is going to be somewhere between 5 to 10 minutes. I'm not sure what the exact length. My character, I play Kitty Goldfarb, who is the assistant to Jonah, who is a television producer, who is very good friends with Trish and Troy and lives across the hall from them. Kitty is ruthless and efficient to the dot. Now, to kind of give an explanation of where the antagonist part of my role comes in, Trish is always trying to find a way to make rent, and she knew that Jonah, because Jonah is actually in a wheelchair, and he needs an assistant to help him with his day-to-day activities. She knew that Jonah needed an assistant, so she tried to get the job, and instead she found that I got the job. So what she keeps trying to do is making me look like an idiot, which never works out to exactly the way she wants it to. She's the one who ends up looking rather on the negative side, shall I put it. So it provides for some very interesting situations, some very, very interesting dialogue.
Well, that seems actually really interesting. I mean, I saw a snippet of your character in the little promo they released, and I was curious because I kind of didn't understand what was going on at first. I wanted to see more of it, but I suppose that's what a promo is supposed to do.
Yeah, it's supposed to kind of drag you in and make you go, yeah, you know what, that's actually pretty funny. I want to see more of it. And hopefully everybody won't have to wait that long until we start releasing the first season, which should be in a couple months.
And do you know where they're going to release it or anything? Is it going to be YouTube or an official site or anything like that?
Well, they have their own YouTube account, which is youtube.com/TrishPattyPat, and that is TrishPeaceYPAT. And that's the official YouTube channel. I believe it might be on another internet network, but the details of that, I don't have those, unfortunately. But you'll be able to find it through there, or, again, go to my YouTube account, and it'll either be linked through there, or you'll have some information from me through there.
Now, you're, from what I understand, either in the middle of filming. Can you tell us how many webisodes you've done, or are you on a non-disclosure?
Not at all. We actually have yet to shoot the first season. We've shot the promos, and I believe within the next couple weeks we're going to shoot the entire first season. And from there, I believe we're going to start releasing episodes shortly thereafter. So it shouldn't be more than a couple months. And as soon as I have any information, I'll probably put it on my YouTube or my Twitter. If everybody has Twitter out there, you can just find me at twitter.com/JulieRei. Pretty easy. Ray. For everybody, anime fans, this should be easy. Rei is R-E-I, like Ayanami, not R-A-Y, like the pop star. No.
Or like Sailor Mars.
Yeah, Sailor Mars, Ayanami.
All those fun characters.
Or as I have to tell people who are not well versed in anime, like the store.
Ah, there's that one too. But people well versed in anime, why would you talk to them? No, I'm kidding.
There are people who don't watch anime out there.
I know, right? Or play video games or anything. Now, you also have, from what I know, a Facebook and a Myspace. Would you like to tell our listeners where those are? Sure.
You can find me on Facebook. Facebook is easy. Facebook.com/JulieRei. JulieRei, just like the Twitter. So Twitter.com/JulieRei, Facebook.com/JulieRei. For YouTube, it's my full name, Rei Goldstein. And if you're on Myspace, you can actually get me at myspace.com/AXIdolJulie. So that's not Julie Ray. Unfortunately, Julie Ray was taken. I don't know why.
Oh, that terrible person. No, I'm kidding.
I know. Who else has the same name as me?
And is there any other upcoming projects that you have coming up that you want to share with everybody?
Main ones that are currently out right now, Ketchup was just released. Let's see. Trish Patty Pat we're filming. I just finished a short film that was a live-action short film, but I did voiceover for it and actually had a character. It's kind of funny. It's a horror short film. I play a ghost, and unfortunately, I didn't actually get to see any of the footage, so it was done very much like prelay. I didn't see any of the footage, even though they'd shot it before I recorded the dialogue. But that should be coming out shortly because I recorded that at the end of December, and they were already in post-production with everything else. So you'll be able to find information through that, through my YouTube. What else is out there? I have a little bit, actually, in Magna Carta 2, but I don't know if I can mention what character.
Well, Magna Carta 2 is out. It's been out for about 2 months, 3 months.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I knew it was coming out soon, but I wasn't.
Oh, I'm not trying to trick you here. I'll pull up the Wikipedia page. But I remember selling it at my store, and renting it to my manager, so just in case. But Magna Carta 2, typing, yay, typing. It came out actually in October.
Oh,
October
wow.
13th, so it's been out for a while. They don't tell you guys anything.
Yeah, and to be quite honest, it's you for most anime and most video games, you basically go in not even knowing what character or show or video game you're working on, and come out still not knowing, and kind of then have to do your own research to kind of find when things are released. I know that's how it's been for me for the most part. It's like, okay, when is stuff going to be released, and is somebody going to let me know? Okay, I'll find out. It's okay.
Aww.
No, but it's fine. Everybody is so busy, especially in this industry, that especially keeping casts so big, it's very hard to just keep everybody comprised of everything that's going on with any specific project.
And with a video game, I would assume you have so many voices involved.
Yeah, and especially role-playing games where there's so much dialogue, and it gets to be a lot of work.
So who exactly did you play in Magna Carta 2? If you said it, I missed it. I'm sorry.
Unfortunately, I'm not sure I can say, but if you hear me and recognize me, kudos. So I'll leave it at that.
Well, see, now I gotta play it, but I don't have an Xbox 360.
Yeah, that was my problem. It was coming out on Xbox 360, and that's the one system I don't have.
I'm the same.
Everything all the way. Yeah, I have everything all the way back to a Sega Saturn. I have a PS2, a Sega Saturn, PS3, Nintendo DS, Wii, but I don't have an Xbox 360.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident because they've been doing this with most RPGs. Is they'll eventually release it for PlayStation 3, like they're planning on doing with Tales of Vesperia, and they're doing with Star Ocean. They're doing an international version in about a month, or I think it is. So hopefully it'll find its way over, because it did not sell well from what I know in the U.S. market, and I don't know about its Japanese numbers either, because it went fully under the radar apparently.
Aww.
It's sad. I mean, it's the demographics too. You're releasing it on Xbox 360, and most of the demographic for Xbox 360 are teenage boys who enjoy shooters. And that's not any, I'm not saying anything against teenage boys or shooters. It's just that's usually the demographic of the people who own Xbox 360s.
Yeah, and that's back when I played a lot of video games, which was probably about 5 years ago. That was the entire reason why I don't think I ever got into Xbox, because when I was heavy into video games, most of what was on Xbox was shooters and sports games, and unfortunately neither interested me. I just played a lot of RPGs, and all those were being released on PlayStation, so it's nice to see that the times are changing. So
Yeah, that's true. I mean, on the original Xbox, there were two really good games that I can think of. One was Jade Empire by BioWare, and the other was Jet Set Radio Future.
yeah, my personal guilty pleasure on the original Xbox, because I never had one, but my friends did, and the one game I picked up was the Buffy the Vampire Slayer game. Oh, I loved it. It was such a guilty pleasure.
That's so cool. I actually just got a Wii for Christmas. I've been talking about it because I've been playing Harvest Moon like a geek.
I finally started playing. I haven't actually touched my Wii for the longest time, but I just started playing again because I got Toy Story Midway Mania, and I love that game because I love the ride at Disneyland.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, you go to Disneyland like every 2 weeks. Like, I'm always checking your Twitter and I see all these pictures from Disneyland. I'm like, I'm jealous.
Yeah, I used to work at Disneyland. I worked at Disneyland for 2 years. It's one of the funnest things I ever did. I was a skipper on the Jungle Cruise, on the world-famous Jungle Cruise, and I actually learned a lot working there, and it was also one of the funnest things I ever did. And it also gets you kind of involved in this Disney culture, which a lot of people were part of. For example, kind of being a skipper on the Jungle Cruise is something a lot of other people throughout Disney history have done. John Lasseter, the president of Pixar and creative director for Disney animation nowadays, he was a skipper on the Jungle Cruise back when he first started with Disney. So kind of felt doing that not only did I learn a lot, but I was following my predecessor's footsteps.
Now, that's the guy who appears in, like, the beginning of, like, The Spirited Away in the Miyazaki films, and is like, Miyazaki is so great. I'm paraphrasing here, but...
Yeah, John Lasseter is a huge Miyazaki fan. When Miyazaki was at Comic-Con, John Lasseter was the one who shared the stage with him and had that interview with him on stage. And you can see that John Lasseter loves Miyazaki's work. And I believe it was because of John Lasseter, and when John Lasseter's involvement with the Disney Studios started, is around the time that all the Miyazaki movies started getting these major releases. Because I think before they were kind of pushing most of the Miyazaki releases towards Miramax, which was the side that released Princess Mononoke back in 1999. Has it been that long?
Probably.
Yeah, I remember seeing that in a theater.
Oh, I saw that on, like, some channel way back when I was, like, 9 or something along those lines. I remember being, like, it was either 9 to 12, somewhere in that general area.
Yeah, I saw Princess Mononoke in a theater when I was just starting college back in '99, and that's when anime it was still kind of relegated to independent theaters, unfortunately, so you didn't get to see it very many places. But I remember that was the one independent theater we had in San Jose in Northern California, where I went to school. And I remember at that theater is where I saw not just Princess Mononoke, but X 1999, the Cowboy Bebop movie, Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust. So,
oh, Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust. I remember that movie blowing everybody away when that came out. At the time, that was such an animation leap.
Yeah, it was quite an amazing venture at the time. Even though nowadays, seeing a lot of current animated features, it doesn't seem like much. But at the time, I remember everybody was so amazed, and I loved the fight sequences in that. I thought they were just genius.
It was pretty cool, and I'll admit we kind of both went off on a tangent and diverted from the subject, which is fine. It's actually, makes it a lot more fun. But I do want to know, before I let you go, because I am running short on time, what conventions we can catch you at this year, because we obviously want to say hi and give you hugs and all that fun stuff.
Oh, sure. I will be for sure at Anime Expo. That's the one convention I always make it to. Not sure. Nothing finalized for any other convention currently. But pretty much like last year, I probably will make my way some way into Anime Vegas. And there might be some others, mainly in the western region. Unfortunately, I don't think I'll be able to make it to the eastern side of the country this year, but hopefully soon.
Maybe you can catch SabotenCon. We'll definitely be at Anime Expo and Anime Vegas, but I know SabotenCon happens in it's like Tucson, Arizona, in October. Mm-hmm. It's a little bit after Anime Vegas, so that might be a good one to look into too.
Yeah, that sounds interesting. I'm always excited to see other cons in the area, especially some of the smaller ones, because they tend to be the ones where you have the most fun in respect to interacting with the fans and activities. Seems the bigger, the more kind of controlled things are. And
yeah,
I like being social.
Like with Anime Vegas, it was very chill, and I've been to Anime Vegas like the past 5 years or 4 years or however long they've been around, and going there as press that year, you know, because I had been volunteers beforehand, it was nice. It wasn't like Anime Expo where I was running around like a chicken without a head.
Yeah, I think I had the exact same experience. Anime Expo for me was, okay, I have to be here, 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 and here. And, okay, I have to find this person, I have to find this person. But Anime Vegas, it was very much just like, okay, have a couple panels. Now I actually get to walk around and have some fun. And then, you know, at night, go to the strip, see a show. It's very relaxed. I personally have been going to Anime Vegas for 4 years now. I think ever since I moved to LA, I think I've gone to Anime Vegas. And it's one of the conventions that I like. Anime Expo, I always try to make it to because it's just so much fun.
Now, I remember the year before 2009 where Anime Vegas was at the Renaissance Hotel, and it was funny. I hadn't yet really started this 918 the fan venture with, you know, everybody, and so I was still working at the Maid Cafe, and I remember you doing, like, I think it was like Spanish bingo. And I had to pass around all the bingo flyers and whatnot.
I remember that when they had us do these fun games. That was very interesting. We had different games. We had Wii and there was bingo and yeah, I actually am fluent in. Yeah, there was like Wii competitions too. But for bingo, I remember we were just kind of trying to spice it up, and since I'm fluent in Spanish, I actually grew up in South America, so I was able to retain all my Spanish.
That's very cool. That'll definitely, you know, be able to broaden your voice acting horizons and all that.
Oh yeah, and if anybody goes to my website, www.julieray.com, that's where I have all my demos. I actually have a Spanish animation demo where you get to see that my entire range is used in both English and Spanish. It's kind of a little fun thing. Even if you don't understand Spanish, you will probably laugh your way through the entire thing.
Well, we will make sure to check that out, and I want to thank you so much for joining us today. It's so awesome to chat with you again.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure to talk to you guys.
Not at all. And we're going to go back to the music, but stay tuned to Kana's Corner because you can only get this live entertainment on 91.8 The Fan.